Welcome back, everybody. Sorry, been some delays, been on vacation, but we are back for Not Funny Guys Presents News Radio Rewatch. I am your host, Dr. John, and we are back at it with News Radio. So this episode 3, we are covering smoking, which I believe is episode 3 of season 1 and episode 5 of season 1, Big Day. So let's talk about our first episode, Smoking, written by Josh Lieb, Brad Isaacs, and Paul Sims, directed by James Burrows. This aired on the 4th of April, 1996, and a very brief summary of this one is that Bill's having trouble complying with the new company's new anti-smoking ordinance, and Dave tries to help him. Yeah, that goes well. But it does establish our Dave and Bill McNeil rapport. So we have an absolutely... To be honest with you, I absolutely love the cold open of this one, where we have Matthew's story, which is actually a dream analysis. We now have, of course, a no smoking office, and we have the development, as I was saying, of the Matthew-Bill dynamic, just as much as we have the Bill-Dave. In a lot of ways, this whole series really does revolve around the great Phil McNeil, whether or not they wanted to or not. And of course, this episode they have a whole dynamic of pro versus anti-smoking ban. Bill does not stick to this whole smoking ban, and David is immediately stuck in the middle. Bill apparently tuned out of the meeting where they announced this whole thing because he doesn't really tune in unless someone mentions his name. Now, we do find Joe after the credits he's lacking real skills at fixing things. He literally slapped Dave's old laptop while trying to help him fix it, and it was working before it turned off. And apparently Lisa is having some sort of weird interactions with Joe. This is a bit of a sort of a B plot for the whole episode. And of course, Lisa and Dave were maintaining the low-lying C plot of the entire season, their secret relationship. Joe is acting weird because apparently she knows that she saw him, he saw her at the movies. Dave was there too, so she thinks that they saw them together. And so she's going to do a little investigating. Bill, of course, is still smoking, and Matthew is now using a turtleneck as a mask. So, we have our A plot, which is the smoking Dave caught in the middle of, shall we say, Bill and Matthew. And the B plot is the awkwardness between Joe with mainly Lisa, even though Dave is again caught in the middle. Bill finds out about the loophole, that there is a requirement for a smoking radius. He would suggest that it's 10 feet around him. Of course he does. Dave has to figure it out. They do establish a smoking area just off the main entrance to the radio station, in a corner where they open a window where you can hear all the loud noise and windiness of New York City, because they're on like the 14th or 15th floor. It's a real terrible setup. Mr. James makes his first of, his like drop-in appearances, like a ghost. He's come in to surprise everybody. He's apparently come to help with the whole smoking situation in the city. Offers to get rid of the ordinance, which Dave then walks through. He has a guy in the city council and the state house and Congress and possibly the White House he can call on. He also reveals that the sprinklers are not real. He paid his nephew to install them and bribe city regulators. Good old New York. After Dave catches Bill smoking in the office, offers to quit coffee with him. We'll quit together. Bill calls his little cigarettes friends. He's like, "Where were you at 3 a.m. when I was watching Steel Magnolias and crying my eyes out?" Which, funny story, Steel Magnolias, if you are familiar with the movie, was filmed in the town I grew up in. There's a Dr. John fact. So, Day 1 starts off well. Dave is suffering from his lack of caffeine. Bill is immediately drinking his coffee and trying to get Dave to cave so they can both cave. And then they both go ballistic on Matthew when he comes in to ask him a question. Dave is suffering massive withdrawals. Lisa's still paranoid about Joe. Bill is on the radio in a monotone voice reading the news like this. Speed reading. And Mr. James comes in and lights up a cigarette and gives it to him. And immediately he perks back up. Oh, I love that. Dave goes in and puts the cigarette out. Bill, back to the monotone voice. Catherine even comes to Bill's side. She says that basically she used to be a smoker and she doesn't mind it. Dave then apparently went out and got him the patch. And Bill peps back up again until all of a sudden he thinks he's having a heart attack. It turns out to be an allergic reaction because you're not supposed to put 15 to 16 of these patches like a belt around your waist. And then says the side effects. He smells like an ashtray when he peed. Lisa finally confronts Joe. Our beeline gets resolved. He was embarrassed that he was at the theater with a flamboyantly gay friend. Oh no, Joe Rogan, you were at the theater with a flamboyantly gay friend. He's not gay, and that's what he thought Lisa thought of him. She didn't recognize him. She just said he was with some guy who was wearing a stupid hat, which is what Dave wears to disguise himself when they go out. We come to find out that Bill is smoking again. He only made it 36 hours, same as Dave. Solution, they have hermetically sealed the radio booth, so Bill now smokes in there. See, folks, all plot lines get resolved in a sitcom. So let's move on to our next episode. So, Big Day. This one is written by Joe Furry, Brad Isaac, Josh Lieb, and Paul Sims. Directed by Alan Meyerson. Aired on the 18th of April, 1995. Now, we've jumped ahead. This is actually episode 5. That was episode 3. We had that little mix-up back in episode 2. But our summary here is the staff unwittingly confide in Dave the expectations for their annual bonuses, not knowing that Jimmy, Mr. James, has delegated the decision-making to Dave. During this episode, we have a hilarious running gag of food appearing on Bill's desk, which is probably my favorite one. So, getting into this, we have Dave learns that it's the big day tomorrow for everyone, and he has no idea what they mean. April 19th, big day for what? Lisa finally lets Dave in on it. It's the annual bonus day for Mr. James. Joe is showing Dave how to basically download porn. And to give you old tech alert, if he has a modem line, he can download these images. Dear Lord, the Dark Ages. Dave and Lisa, still a secret relationship. This is our running, like I said, this is our running C plot line throughout the whole season here. And if you don't know what plot lines are, an A plot is typically the main plot of a story. B plot is the sort of maybe secondary plot, and sometimes you have as much as a C plot. In this case, we have a running one, but this is the interconnected stories that are running throughout here. Mr. James comes to see Dave, warns Dave off about Lisa. He says, dating in the office is bad juju. Of course, we will find out more about that later. This secret relationship. We learn that Mr. James' method is basically pure hell to him because he's putting a monetary value on people. Now he's making it Dave's job. So Bill comes in to speak to Dave about the people putting stuff on his desk. Now here's our B plot. Not wanting his desk to be a point of traffic for others. Mr. James then comes and pulls Dave aside, giving him guidelines for the bonuses. He wants to give $400 to everyone, except one person will get $3,000, what he calls the big bonus, and one person will get nothing, called the shaft. This is motivational. All the pressure's on Dave now, though, of course, but he thinks they should just give everybody regular bonuses, but that's just not going to be the cards. Everybody's now in a state of paranoia and fear in the office, which apparently is what Mr. James wanted. Matthew has gotten the shaft all 3 years that he's worked there, so he's complaining about this to Dave. Of course, the man who's now deciding these things. No one knows he's in charge. Matthew confesses his tardiness to Dave. Of course, this is our bonus dilemma, is the plot A. Plot B, the desk issue. And like I said, someone magically keeps putting things on his desk or is sitting at his desk eating. He's in a high traffic area. Joe and Bill are sitting at one point, calling out the lyrics of the Shaft theme music to Matthew to apparently annoy him, which is quite humorous. Dave wants to give everyone an equal bonus still. Mr. James, again, rejects it. Someone is apparently now drinking coffee at Bill's desk, and he sees these things from the booth. And so he tells Dave, Mr. James, that he wants Dave to tell Mr. James that the 3,000 bonus is not big enough. He needs a big bonus this year because that's apparently who gets it. Lisa also thinks she's getting it too. Someone's left food on Bill's desk now. But then this time it turns out he was the one who actually ordered the food. So we do slip in the reverse play card here. Beth and Dave are trying to work out the bonuses. Lisa thinks that she's, like I said, getting the big bonus. Have to have a talk. Tells Lisa he's giving out the bonus. She thinks she deserves it still. Relationship problem. Again, plot C. Joe comes in to try and blackmail Dave about the power switch that he knows for the whole building. Dave finally calls a staff meeting, tells everyone he's giving out the bonuses, tries to get everyone to pull the money, and no shaft and no McBonus. Bill hates it because it's fair and democratic. Reeks of communism, he says. So this joint fails. The only person not in the meeting who was on the broadcasting is Catherine. She joins in and pretends she doesn't care about what the big bonus is. Well played, Catherine. Everyone else gets a big bonus. Everybody gets a normal bonus. She gets the big bonus. Dave takes the shaft for himself. And Catherine's like, you just have to know how to play the game. Good girl. I love it. Mr. James comes in later and adds more bonus money for everybody for certain things, but he loves that Dave took the shaft. Bill is, of course, still complaining about the desk. Dave, in anger, sweeps the desk clean. Resolved, right? He walks away, but then magically, out of nowhere, food appears again. It's like a teleporter. It's like something out of a Rick and Morty episode or something like that. But I digress. So that brings us to the end of episode 3. Next time, we'll be talking about Luncheon and Waldorf and Sweeps Week as we finish out season 1. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for bearing with me. A little vacation time. But we'll be back on a more regular schedule here, releasing these things as we move on through them. But in the meantime, if you'd like to tell us some thoughts and ideas and things you want to know more about, please feel free to not only like, subscribe, share, comment, but write us directly, and you can do that in the description below or in the ticker right now, notfunnyguys.offthereels@gmail.com. I want to hear from you, comments, things that you think I could be doing better, things you think I should cover, things you'd like to know more about sitcom TV. All of those wonderful things can be done by sharing that in an email or a comment or in a hype, that hype button that YouTube's got now. Hit that. Small channels. I'm a small channel, right? Yeah. But if you want to catch some other Not Funny Guys productions, we have 3 other podcasts. We've got our main podcast where we talk about movies. We do TV over here on the YouTube channel. You can check that out. Not Funny Guys presents Off the Reels, hence our email address, where we have just wrapped up all the cinematic Batman films, and we are moving on to a 3-pack of Danny DeVito films. So come check that out. We've done the entire Marvel Universe. We've done summer blockbusters last year. There's so much. The Scream franchise. Oh, Fast and Furious. Wes Anderson. We've covered a bunch, so you should check out our catalog. We've got over 200 episodes. If that's not your cup of tea, you can also check out, and perhaps maybe you're more of a pro wrestling fan or a horror movie fan. You can go check out my other Not Funny Guy colleagues, Casey and Eric, but their podcast, Not Funny Guys presents Wrestling with the Horror of It All, where they talk about WWE wrestling and horror films. I have no idea what they're on. That's not horror. It's not my thing, but that's their thing. So you should check that out. And finally, if you're more of an academic bit, you can check out myself, Dr. John, and our Not Funny gal, Dr. Kristen, over on our podcast, Not Funny Guys presents Thinking About Thinking, where we talk about and have conversation about things academic and the real world, AI, culture, you name it. We're having a bit of a summer hiatus right now, but we've got 2 seasons going on there. So come check that out. And if you can hear my dog, she's mad at something outside. But until next time, come back for more. And remember, keep it not funny.